what's up everyone, it's Nekkra and I'm here with a special video today because I got a chance to check out the Indigo Disk DLC early. Before we get into the actual demo experience, I just want to say that the DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet have really blown me away. After playing through part 1, the Teal Mask, I feel like it was just well thought out character development as well as a really nice tack on to the already really great storytelling in the base game. Yes, I know that there are still some things that could be worked out to polish the main game of Scarlet and Violet, but it feels that part 1 is a really great launching point for the second part of the DLC. And what makes me really excited about this part of the DLC in particular, the Indigo Disk, is that it's all about double battles. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Rosemary Kelly, and I'm one of the casters for VGC, otherwise known as the Video Game Championship Series. It's just competitive doubles where you play 2v2 on a battlefield, but it's not the normal way that you play through a Pokemon game. Sometimes you get a chance to play against two trainers that are standing next to each other on a route, or you ended up playing in Raihan's gym in Sword and Shield, and that was what doubles is, or you play the online ladder and maybe you experience doubles that way. But this DLC is all about double battles. As a VGC player, that excites me so much because there's so much potential for Nintendo and the Pokemon Company to really take this idea and run with it. And it has been a very long time since we've seen something this competitive in nature since Battle Factory, I think. Like just that whole area of the game. I've already been really impressed with some of the more recent developments for the characters, especially when you take a look at Cynthia's rework and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I feel like she just got a mega tune-up that was really intentional and thoughtful to make her more difficult to actually beat in game. And I think that the Indigo Disk is doing something very similar. Now to get to the actual demo experience, right away I got to check out the terrarium. The terrarium is one of the biggest aspects of this DLC where they've put a lot of hype and emphasis around, especially when you look at the official trailers for the Indigo Disk. You've got 4 biomes to discover. You've got the coastal, the savanna, the canyon, as well as the polar. Very proud of myself for remembering all of those. And every single one of them is kitted out to be just a very unique habitat where you get to encounter lots of different types of Pokemon. I feel like you get that sort of explanation and idea from watching the official trailers, but it was really cool to see it in action because first of all, the terrarium map is huge. It feels like there is so much to explore, and I only got a chance to tap into like 5 minutes of that. There's still items on the ground. You also still have just the shiny items littered all over the place, like the little glittering dots that you get, like pretty feathers and berries and all that good stuff from the main game and also DLC part 1. But I think what's going to be very exciting is to see what else has been introduced into the game, because we also only know a handful of the returning Pokemon from the official sources that will be in the game. I feel like there's going to be a lot more just based on how big the terrarium is overall. I also got a chance to learn a little bit more about the terrarium. So it's an underwater facility. All of the sky, I guess you'll call it, is actually LED panels, basically, or big television screens that they ended up making look like the sky of the biome. And you're just underwater, which is so cool. I know we all saw from the trailers that this is going to be a facility that is floating in the middle of the ocean. And somehow this ginormous terrarium is just hiding all underneath that. I'm very excited to go explore this when the DLC actually launches, but right away I was just blown away with the size of the terrarium as well as the natural features of it that make it such a unique habitat for each different quarter that you have. In the middle of the terrarium, there is a central point, and so this feels like where some of the story is going to take place, particularly after you end up doing like your very first class of the DLC. You get a chance to actually go meet up with Carmine. Of course, this is her school, so you get a chance to meet her on her home turf, but you also get a chance to battle her, and this is where I was immediately impressed. Carmine's team is difficult. In terms of a double battle that you might be handed right away, I feel like you take the training wheels off a little bit with this one, and she really does have very thoughtful strategies to execute a double battle. She's got double intimidate. She has some of the super effective berries, like the held items actually matter for her Pokemon. And it is a great taste into what I hope is going to be a very fleshed out double battles experience for the rest of the DLC. I'm very hopeful. I feel like the Carmine battle is going to catch a lot of people off guard. It caught me off guard. I almost lost that battle when I was actually playing through it. Definitely could just be a skill issue. I was a little bit distracted by the fact that there was a lot of other very pretty things to look at during the demo. But the battle really was that intense and that deliberate. I really do think it's going to give people a great taste of what's to come for the rest of the DLC. The other part of the DLC that I got a chance to check out was one of the Elite Four trials. So there is a brand new Elite Four that you get a chance to battle at Blueberry Academy, and I got a chance to face off one of those members, which is Amorous, and before I could battle them, I had to complete a trial. That trial showcases one of the new movement mechanics that is available in part 2 of the DLC, and that's flying. You can glide. Your Koraidon or Miraidon can glide through the base game of Scarlet and Violet, but this is completely different. The trial is where you have to navigate through suspended rings in the sky, and it gives you joystick control movement. If you move the joystick up, Koraidon goes up. If you move the joystick down, then Koraidon will go down. But that is also very cool to consider as a new feature of this game, where I would love to know what kind of possibilities that might unlock if that is a transferable movement to other parts of the game, like Kitakami or just Paldea General. So I got a chance to do that. I love the idea that doubles is getting love. My hope is that this DLC is going to be something that motivates other people to get involved in the competitive scene, either if it is officially or even just using the online ladder a little bit more, or even just checking out some of the awesome online competitions that we have. I feel very grateful to get a chance to see what those competitions look like from behind the scenes in terms of being a caster, but it would be great to see some of you out there that have been inspired from your playthrough of the second part of the DLC to actually come join us and compete at some of these events. So maybe that will give you a little bit of motivation. I don't know. I also could be totally reading into it too much, and maybe it's just not as big of a focus for everybody that's going to actually be playing through the DLC, but yeah, it means a lot to me on an individual level, and hopefully you guys are going to really enjoy the experience too. Biggest takeaways: demo was fun, and the DLC looks really, really promising. Some housekeeping items. In order to actually get access to part 2 of the DLC, you must have completed part 1's main storyline. So make sure you get that done before December 14th rolls around. Otherwise, you won't be able to play the content yet, and that would be sad. There's also so much that we don't know about this game yet. I only got a chance to check out a very small portion of the DLC, but with the focus on competitive, I'm kind of hopeful that maybe there are some other quality of life improvements that are going to be added into the DLC to help with getting a competitive team together, or even if it's just kind of getting practice as well. There's also Raging Bolt. Where is Raging Bolt? I did not get a chance to see Raging Bolt yet, but I really want to, because he looks so goofy, and I need to know how tall it is. And is it going to be taller than the Alolan Executor that are also running around the terrarium? These are the important questions that need to be answered in life. But find out on December 14th, when part 2 of the Indigo Disk ends up actually getting released. That's all I got to go over from my preview experience, so thank you so much to Nintendo of America and the Pokemon Company International for inviting me out to even do this in the first place. That was a very cool experience, and I hope you all enjoyed what I have to share. Thank you for tuning into the video, and I will see you all in the next one, or maybe even at a regional or an international near you. Hope to see you guys there.